What is up, guys? Welcome back to another one of my build videos. Today we're going to be going over the stam warden build. This is a medium armor build. The previous build that I dropped was heavy armor, but this time we're going to be focusing on medium armor. My previous build was really solid for single target. It also had very strong group targeting with the combination. This is going to focus on higher groups. It still has a lot of single target DPS, and I think it's capping at 17k penetration for single target and about 16 or 15k on without our ancient proccing, which we'll be going over right now. For the monster set, I do have one Bloodspawn, one Kina. You could do two Bloodspawn. Two Bloodspawn is actually the preferred setup. The reason for that is because we are going to be pushing Permafrost in this build, and it's so costly that you want a high ultimate regen setup. That's the main reason for two Bloodspawn. I run the one Kina for the additional damage, but you do want to do two Bloodspawn. I don't have enough shoulders to pass around between my my characters, so this is what I'm running now. You could do one Keenov and one Villageth as well if you wanted the additional weapon damage, or you could also run two Villageth for additional burst. But in my opinion, the two Bloodspawn, it makes you tankier, and it also increases your regen, your ultimate regen, which is really good for this build. The second setup that we have is going to be Clever Alchemist. 5 Clever Alchemists. We're running 2 heavy, 1 heavy chest, 1 heavy legs. All stam glyphs. You want all impen as well. I didn't make the mistake of running a divine. That's because I was running impreg with this build prior to testing, and it wasn't what I was hoping for, so we switched it off. But you do want to get all impen. The chest you can keep reinforced to get the additional resistances. The second setup that we're running is going to be Spriggans. The backhand, you can do powered instead of Nern, since that's going to be your buff bar. You could do a mole for the extra healing done too. For the front bar, you have 1 mole of Spriggans and Nern with the Crusher enchant, and 1 infused axe with weapon damage enchant. If you can get 2 moles, you don't need the dual axes here. The higher penetration, the better. You could do dual axes, or you could do 1 axe, 1 mole, so you have the penetration bonus plus a bleed bonus, which is going to be strong single target. That's the main reason we have rending slashes, is to have some single target DPS, so we can keep the pressure going. You can see our flat stats are really good. 3.1k weapon damage. This is without Clever Alchemist proccing, and we're about 18k resistances, close to 19k. If you had 2 Bloodspawns, your resistances would be much higher once your Bloodspawn procs. We are running the Serpent Mundus to give us a little bit more recovery. You could do Warrior, but the highest damage I've seen on the build is about 4.7k weapon damage, so I wouldn't worry about pushing. You could do Warrior and try to get, I guess, the additional 5k, since we're running 1 recovery glyph on the jewelry. You can mix and match. This is what I prefer. This is the setup that I prefer running. This is the skills for the back bar. Permafrost, of course, and then from the front bar, Bird of Prey is really good for that Berserker passive. I was a little skeptical with Still Tornado at first, I'm not gonna lie. I've ran it before, I didn't really like it. I still miss my 2H front bar execute. But the Still Tornado has such a strong AoE, and it's really good for those targets that like to run away and hide and go into stealth. You know, you'd be able to pull them out. It's a really strong. It's a really strong execute at the moment. And it pairs up real well with the rest of the build, especially if you're running with a second player that's running a strong ultimate, or really just a small group and you guys time your ultimates. It's gonna go just well. I did attach a clip at the end of the video. It's a small, I guess, a small clip of how I play the build. Now you could do some swapping around between skills here and there to try to, if you wanted to do 2H front bar and get the subterranean assault, the betting edge instead of the rendering slashes, or instead of the vigor, you could put the vigor in the back bar actually. That way you can have that additional 3% weapon damage that we're getting from the passive. But honestly, it's not like that huge of a difference, the additional 3%. And you still want to have some decent damage on your back bar so you can have better heals. So ultimately, you want to come in with the subterranean assault while your permafrost is up and start still tornadoing and hoping that somebody drops a Dawnbreaker or any ultimate for that matter. If you're running solo, you can just Dawnbreaker instead, than permafrost. Now, because we're running permafrost, these two passives are actually really important. I didn't have them before because we were running Dawnbreaker as our main. Dawnbreaker is still our main ultimate if we are fighting single target, like I said, or if you're fighting smaller groups and you're by yourself. But permafrost is going to be our big push for this build, since it's a support build. Want all the passives for the 2H. You do want all your passives for dual wield. Even though we're not doing the front bar, if you switch it quick enough or you heavy attack something, you could always get that additional recovery from the 2H passive. Like I said, this is one other way you can set it up. If you wanted to run the execute on the two-handed bar, you can still have the rendering slashes for your single target, swap over and finish your combo out, and instead of Steel Tornado, you'd be doing the execute for the 2H. But I honestly, I feel like the Steel Tornado setup is a lot stronger though. It's annoying. It's extremely annoying, especially the range that it has. For the armor passives, obviously you want all your medium, you want all your heavy armor passives. For the guild, we are running Dawnbreaker, so you want your 3 main passives, which is going to give you the ultimate back and the additional damage. I'm trying to rush through this video so that I don't make it too long like my other videos, guys. For heavy armor, I think, I don't know, if I skipped it, I'm sorry guys. The heavy armor, you want the first 3 passives. The reason for that is because we are running too heavy. So you still want the additional health recovery, and the resistance that the passives give you. It's not much, but it's still pretty good, pretty solid. Also, the good thing that I think I forgot to mention is the one of our passives for being a warden is every time you heal, you gain minor toughness. So as long as you're healing, you have that additional health, which is really, really good. These are the passives for the Fighters Guild. We don't have our Undaunted up yet, so we don't have anything there. But if you do, obviously you want your Undaunted up. We're running Redguard for this build. You could do Argonian. Argonian seems to be pretty solid this patch, but I prefer to have the additional stam for the tooltip. Obviously, Assault, you want your Vigor, you want your same passives we usually get. You could get all the passives. Not for the support one though. The support one, some of them, like Battle Resurrection, can be pretty good if you like to play in groups. But for the most part, this is it. This is the build. The skills, the CP. Let's go right into the CP before I forget. Flat stats. Again, guys, the flat stats are pretty good without proccing our Alchemist. So if you guys wanted to replace Alchemist for something else, you could, but this is the build that I've got running at the moment. This is my setup. Any videos that you see me on my stam warden with from now on, I'm going to try to, every time I make a clip video to show you guys the sets. I know there's a lot of sets, or a lot of people out there that run separate sets than what they say they run. But this isn't the case for me. I usually like to test out my builds before I post them. And some of these builds, like I said, I just hope they can help some of you guys out there get better ideas, or you know, just help you get set up for now. I think for the most part, it's really hard to come up with a good setup that we're comfortable with. That's the CP, that's the skills. We went over the sets. I think we have some time. I guess I could show you guys the way our weapon damage gets procced once we hit something. I know there's a wolf somewhere. With the wings too, the bird of prey, you get a little bit more recovery. So it's the same as popping a potion, except you can keep it up 100% uptime. This the steel tornado is really the bread and butter, I guess, of the build. With the amount of damage that we're pushing, it's a really strong execute. Um, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm just so tired. But here, let me go show you guys what our procs look like. The holiday season is always the worst season as far as busyness goes. But this is it right here, 4.6k. Because we're running infused axe also for our weapon enchant, the infused gives us a 50% less cooldown on the weapon enchant. So as long as you're keeping Steel Tornado up, you're proccing that weapon enchant pretty highly. Um, the uptime on it is extremely good. So you're always gonna see. This isn't from this wolf. I must have killed something before I came into Cyrodiil. You can see the penetration here, how much penetration we're getting without the Crusher enchant proccing. Base damage wise, max damage. I think this was without proccing our Alchemist. You know, the Alchemist has a kind of a long cooldown after the potion procs, and you only get, I guess, a few seconds to do what you have to do. But because her base damage is already high, it's not really like a deal breaker, and that's why I like it. Also, because some targets you won't need Alchemist, and some you will, so you basically have that proc on command. That's the main reason. I did try Ravaging as well. For my heavy armor, that's what I was running, the Ravaging build. But for this medium setup, I feel like this is a really strong setup. Let's see if we can... once you get your Subterranean Assaults, that's really when you want to come in, and hopefully you already have your thing up. There it is, 3.7k weapon damage. 3.7k. That's without our Alchemist proc, so you guys can see it already. Like I said, it's extremely high. It's extremely strong build. Once you get that setup, it's even stronger. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys out there. Hold up, not ready, not ready. I'm gonna hold this guy right here. Almost. Hold. All right, ready? Pushing in. I'm gonna run right through them.